The other co-chair will join us just after, so it will be a little bit late. So for today, this is the second TSC of Sylva. Just coming back, we will manage some administrative points. Then we will have a focus for each work group concerning the stack development, the validation center, concerning the security requirements. I'm not sure that Theophile will be available, but we'll see. And then on the governance, we have initialized some topic to discuss.
Guillaume, I can confirm Theophile will not be available today.
Yeah, okay. This is what I had in mind. Okay. To start, following the participants, I will update. Team is here. Orange is here. Is Dutch Telecom here? No. Telefonica, Luis is here. Hello. Vodafone. Nicoletta, are you here? Nicoletta is not here. Ericsson, Norbert.
Yes, hello.
Hello. Nokia, I see Uni, I think.
Yes. Yes, hello.
And Marco. Okay. So we have not reached we've reached the minimum quorum for decision process because we've got 2/3 of the board members, and we will see if we have some decisions asked by the different leader of the different work group. Just to mention that I have updated this morning the TSC member list for Telecom Italia. So Carlo Cavazzoni is joining as a member of the TSC with Giuseppe Ferraris. So Carlo, congratulations.
Thank you, Guillaume.
And here it was the listing for the members, the board members of Sylva, but of course we are an open source project and we are pleased to welcome all other participants. I see many different entities around the bridge. I don't want to list because I want to omit part of them, but in the minutes you'll have the different companies who participate to this second TSC. Just to remind that the Linux Foundation policies are here, so you can consult it to have a scope of our collaboration. The next TSC will be the 25th of January. You'll have all the connection information here. This document is private, but I will publish it today as a public document in the governance repo on the wiki. So you'll have all the information. I had a question from one of our potential partners to not have the TSC on the CET schedule on the morning. So I don't know if you have any objection to delay to 4 p.m. On the 25th. Is there any objection? It would be preferable for some US participants. Okay. Thanks. Okay, so for the introduction, hello. For the introductions, just to you've got you will have in the minutes the different important documents on Sylva, where you can have a white paper that explains the business objective of Sylva. You'll have, of course, the technical charter, which describe the open source collaboration rules. You'll have also the Slack, where you can have a dedicated channel to a different to different work group, including the development of a stack, but also the governance part. You can create issues here. And of course, you'll have the different meetings with the links. Just to highlight that we had the first session on the onboarding. The aim of this session is to present Sylva to all potential partners. And we had eight companies that were participating. Many of them were also interested not just to have information, but to have more information. Especially, we asked to have the interest on the work group 2 concerning the validation center, and many of these 8 companies were interested to participate to this validation center focus. With Mathuron, as soon as the code will be public, we will also organize some dedicated session to present the code of a stack. And so it will be another opportunities to get involved in Sylva in this stream concerning the cloud stack. And I have been asked to have a new session for new partners. We have Capgemini, Wind River, and other partners that wants to have more information on the stack. So we've planned a new session the 1st of February. Okay. Is there any questions on this introduction and administrative part before I let the floor to Matthew? No? Okay. So Matthew. So Matthew is the leader of the first work group, which is the stack development. So Matthew, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Guillaume. Hi, everyone. So just to share with you that we keep working on the development of the stack, mainly through development of a specific Helm chart to easily deploy the entire stack. Today, where we are able to deploy the entire stack into within the CI. We are using a specific environment with a GitLab runner because we don't have enough resources on GitLab.com infrastructures to deploy the entire stack. So we set up a dedicated CI environment for testing purposes. So thanks to this environment, we are able to test the deployment of the stack. And when I mean the deployment of the stack, I mean the entire stack, which is one management cluster with several components on top of it. One of those is Rancher, and workload cluster, which is seen by Rancher and manageable through Rancher, but also we are heavily relying on the cluster API for managing every cluster, the management cluster and the workload clusters. So it's really based on a GitOps approach. We are using Flux for within the stack to use a GitOps workflow to manage the lifecycle of all the clusters, including the management cluster. So it's a good news that we can test the stack in a CI. The merge request is about to be merged in the main branch, I would say. We have added few components in the stack, such as Git leaks to scan within the CI if any patch has some secrets or tokens, Git tokens, or any password that doesn't have to be shared into any commit. And we also have been working into the integration of Vault into the management cluster, and it's something that is working today. The next step is really about working on the documentation in order to push the code, and specifically this part of the code, the Helm chart, and the way to deploy the entire stack easily for newcomers. We are working on the documentation to improve the newcomers' experience. And as soon as it is available, we'll push it into the public repository, hopefully before the end of January. This is the target. We are going to start a dedicated sprint for cleaning up the main repo and pushing it into the upstream, the public repository. Some sharing that we can do today. It's about some renaming. We agreed, all the developers agreed to rename the different components that we've been working on in the development stream. The main Helm chart that I'm talking about will be renamed as Sylva units. This will be the chart that will be used to easily deploy the stack. And we also are going to push the development that we are doing today into a dedicated repo. The public repository in gitlab.com will be named Sylva Core, and it will be a new project inside the Sylva organization, which is named Sylva Projects, which is already publicly available. And we don't have any decision to ask to the TSC for today.
Okay, thank you, Matthew. Just as you mentioned that tomorrow we are going to launch a dedicated sprint to prepare the opening or the migration to the public repo. Is it possible that we can plan in the first week of February meeting to present to potential partners the structure and the documentation of the code?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so I will help you to organize this meeting if you're okay. I don't know. Okay, thank you. Any question to Matthew concerning the stack, Dev?
Yeah, I didn't mention it, but really the goal is to help newcomers to deploy the stack. And when I mean deploying the stack, I mean deploying some RK2 clusters or kubeadm clusters on top of Docker. This is the first step for newcomers to easily deploy the stack into development environment. But you have to keep in mind that the target here is really to be able to deploy the stack not only on top of Docker, of course, but on top of OpenStack, on top of bare metal, and on top of vSphere environments.
Okay, thank you. We've got already an internal customer, which is a validation center that is currently deploying the stack. So for us, it's important because Luis Velarde and Guillermo are giving us some feedback also to enhance the documentation or the process to install. So this is clearly important for us because it's a first way to integrate some external feedback, I want to say, to challenge the way we are documenting the overall process. So it was my transition, Luis, to the Workgroup Validation Center.
Okay, hello. Okay, so regarding the validation center, as you know, this this track is intended to validate that network functions can work on top of these Sylva releases. So the first thing that we have done is, or what we do is actually making use of the automatic the scripts for automatic deployment that I've just commented. We have deployed implemented a first version of this Sylva, and on top of this we can validate different network functions. So we have already done the first set up the first platform. It is ready, but it was ready based on the alpha, so the preliminary release. Now we are working on introducing the new automatic validation, automatic deployment scripts for what we call the beta release. So we are working right now in completing the process for the automatic deployment. And as Guillaume said, we are feeding because the results that we obtain can help improving this process. And once we have this, and we plan to have it within the next 2 weeks, once we have this, we can start with the first network to be validated officially. In order to do this, we need to create the list of them. So what's the status right now? The status is that, well, first of all, we have created the sub-project repository within the Sylva project, where all the strategy is described and the process for validation. The process for validation of CNFs is defined, and the next steps.
I can share my screen
yes,
if you want.
Yeah, you can see under Sylva there's a validation center. Yeah, and here, yeah, you have information about what's the process, what's the way of working, or what we plan to do. Yeah, this is the process defined. Well, you can enter here and review and comment as you see fit. And we are creating, well, we are starting, at least we have defined how to do it. We are creating what we call the validation backlog. Right now it's empty, and the validation backlog is intended to be a table indicating what are the CNFs that need, or applications in general, that we want as a group to be validated. And this will be covered during the validation center meetings that we will have every 2 or 3 weeks, starting next week. The first one will be on the 19th. It's already scheduled, and the agenda there basically is to cover the scope of the validation center, to cover the way of working, how we want to do this validation center. That basically is, as I said, identifying the network functions, assigning teams to perform the validation, and start the validation in one of different platforms. Right now we have one platform, but we have to build more than one, because we probably want to validate based on, to consider validated a network function, probably we have to pass it through a Sylva stack with bare metal, and also with a Sylva stack with non-bare metal, with the rancher, as it was commented before. So we probably need more than one validation platform. So we have to build the different validation platforms, create groups for CNFs, for applications in general, to be validated, and execute the validation process for each one of these. And this is something that we will plan to do starting, as I say, on January 19th. And more or less, this is all about the status right now. We are just starting.
Okay.
If I may ask you a question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for the description here. On the validation part, are we only targeting Helm chart based, or we are also encouraging other things? I'm sorry, I'm coming Seshu from Wind River. This is my first meeting in Sylva. I know you said that there'll be a detailed plan of this in Feb first week. I mean, Feb first you'll actually have it, but out of curiosity, is it going to be Helm chart based alone, or we are also planning some other validation? Because the moment you say validation, it's a very broad spectrum of thing, right? Many things fall in that. Yeah.
Right now we are starting with Helm chart. So when a network function wants to be deployed, it has to provide the way. One of the first things is that we need to understand the network function. This is why I say we need to create groups. Once a network function is decided to be validated, we create a group working with the provider of the network function that should be part of the validation team. And we need to understand what's the mechanism that they expect to be to be deployed. And if it's based on Helm charts, Sylva will support that. If it's based on other link or whatever other mechanism, we can discuss and incorporate.
So are we looking
But
at certification? Are we looking at something like certification, or is validation
No.
only on the fly?
That's an important fact. This is not important term. This is not certification. We call it specifically validation, because this doesn't mean whatever you have here has been certified and then you are safe to deploy it on production. No, operators are responsible for their own production-ready applications. This is validation just to validate that the network function can be deployed and functionally it works, but minimally functionally. We don't even do performance testing here.
Basically, you're saying it's just that onboarded Helm charts are being validated and verified so that they'll be ready for deployment. There won't be any hiccups while we do runtime. Actually, maybe that's the way you're saying, right?
Exactly. Basically, we want to demonstrate Sylva stack will integrate a set of functionalities that will be used by the applications, by the network functions. So what we want to validate is that the network function can be deployed and will be deployed, and the network function is making use of these functionalities, these capabilities that as a network function requires. For instance, it needs CPU pinning. Well, demonstrate that the CPU pinning can be enabled in the stack and can be used by the application. But we are not going to exploit all the use cases for this function. This is pre-production testing that is to be done by the operators.
Basically, this is actually onboard testing. And in a way, you're saying this is pre-instantiation validation, right? Anyway,
but onboard testing with an additional thing that is confirming that the network function is actually what it says it is. I mean, if it's a database, should be act as a database. If it says that incorporates, the given interface that it can accept calls, API calls for that interface, not for a different interface, but not more than that. No complete performance or functional testing.
Okay. Thanks for clarification.
And to my point of view, it's also an opportunity to work with CNF vendor to better understand what are their technical requirements coming from CNF vendors that we may incorporate into the stack.
Yeah, exactly. If it may happen that one of the CNFs says, I need this capability. Let's say, for instance, I need PTP for video, and PTP is not still in the stack for Sylva, then this is an opportunity to add this functionality in Sylva stack. Actually, PTP is incorporated, but that was an example.
Right. So basically, you're saying validation against a standard body, right? Against a standard understanding of test cases. That's what it will be. Got it. Yeah. Got it.
Okay. Any other question? Yeah.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, Andre.
Yeah. Okay. Hi everyone. Andre Vieira from Selfocus. Here, in terms of you're saying that you're doing here a validation, but this will be integrated with Nephew, because in Nephew, they are not doing the Helm charts validation. They are doing in CRDs. But this will be connected with Nephew, because I think Nephew is going also to do the certification and validation, right? Or
we still need to understand completely Nephew. So this is sooner or later it will be related somehow with Nephew, but at this point we still don't know how.
Okay.
And concerning Orange, we have some participants within Nephew, which we've got some interlock with them to see the opportunity that Nephew will manage the lifecycle management of the CNF, and on Sylva side, we are going to manage the cloud layer of the infrastructure. Yeah.
Sure.
It's important. Yeah, it's important to have this interlock, and we'll see how it's going to evolve.
Okay. Thank you.
Just Guillaume, while you were sharing the GitLab page and specifically the GitLab project, the Sylva project sub-project, can you come back to to Sylva projects.
Yeah, I am.
The main, okay. So we can see here, we have one Sylva. I think what I have in mind is about using this repository to host a high-level documentation and high-level technical documentation, HFD, for instance, and contributor list or things like this. While in the Sylva core that I mentioned earlier, we will maintain the technical project that will be used to deploy the stack.
So here.
Yes, this is private for the moment, but
for the moment it's private. So.
Yeah, it will be the main project for hosting the Helm chart I was speaking about earlier, and that is going to be used to deploy the stack. Do we agree on this kind of split? Using Sylva as a repository to mainly host documentation, while the technical part will be more in Sylva core or any other dedicated sub-project. It's okay for you?
No blocking points or on the table for this proposal?
Yeah, no issue. On my side,
Okay.
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 Decision. Use Sylva core. Okay. We'll register this decision. Okay. Thanks, Luis and Matthew. Now we're going to switch to the work group, the security requirement work group. Maybe Théophile, if you can reintroduce in a word the objective.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, fine. So hello everyone. So as a short reminder, the objective of the security work group requirement is about specifying features and requirements for the Sylva framework, for the Sylva stack, in line with the EUCS certification scheme from the European Union. So as you may know, the EUCS is a certification scheme that was drafted in 2020, end of 2020, and will be released soon. And the goal of this certification scheme is to unify all the other security certification schemes in Europe at the national level. So we want to comply. We want Sylva to be compliant with these requirements.
Yeah, we've lost some packets. Yeah, now it's better.
Okay, sorry. So we want to be compliant with those requirements in order for a cloud provider wanting to use Sylva, so it can be itself compliant with the EUCS certification scheme. So we are targeting the level 3. So there are 3 levels of security inside the EUCS, low, medium, high, and we are targeting the high level. So for now, we are working within the stream to publish features for Sylva to help Sylva being compliant with those requirements. We are publishing those features and requirements in a wiki page at the root of the project. So if you, maybe Guillaume, you can share. So if we go to the group Sylva project and you go directly to the wiki page at the left on the left side, you will see so a short introduction on all projects under Sylva, so security, the stack and the validation center, and you will find also a requirement part where you can find the security requirement, an explanation on what is EUCS and why do we want to use EUCS as a basis for the security requirements in Sylva, and we will put step by step the requirements on each specific domain in the in this part. So, for example, in IAM, we just uploaded an example of feature we will add. So with the name of security feature, a description, a precise description, a priority for the Sylva roadmap, and then also we can identify technical solution that we can use. So I don't know, open source components or architecture diagrams or any other kind of materials. So this is how we will work, and so the stream is organized with the public meetings once a week on Wednesday from 2:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Common European time. So feel free to join the stream to work on those features. We are looking for contributors and for new members to join. So do not hesitate to contact me to join this work on those requirements.
So I will update the minutes to include the information to connect to this meeting, Théophile.
Yes, a precision about that. If you go back to the wiki at the Sylva project root level, you will find in the yes. If you click on security under projects under Sylva, on the first part, you have a projects under Sylva.
Sorry, come back. I go back to the wiki.
Yes,
No, it's
if you
on
see
the
the
left
sidebar.
panel.
Yeah.
Yes.
So sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just
Right.
put the link to connect to the weekly meetings here, so you can just.
I will reference this link. Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
And you can also
And we-
contact me directly if you want to have the Outlook invitation, of course.
We also have a list of requirements that we've been working on with Luis. We may move this requirement list into this wiki too. I mean, specific telco features such as SRIOV that we have to include into the stack, such as PTP requirements.
Yeah, the list that we have as an Excel, no? That
Yeah.
we want to move here. Okay. We can move to it.
It would be nice to have all the requirements listed into this wiki.
In place. It's important to have a central place to have the list of requirements.
Yeah, I think as part of Sylva, so the Sylva technical track, no, the validation center, I think we should review this list to be clear that the list is up to date and then transfer it here. Yeah, propose you to do it.
Yeah. Need to review the requirement list. And where you think we should have a dedicated meeting to review the list? Maybe, Luis, what's your idea?
I don't think this is part of the validation center. I think it's part of the Sylva technical track meeting. So
requirements at the work group 1 on the cloud stack. Okay.
We have to discuss it because I feel like requirements are coming from external dependencies, such as EUCS or CNF vendors that require some technical bits to be put into the stack to work properly. So I feel like the requirements are coming from external sources, external to the development work group.
So it can be at the TSC level because it's
yes, indeed.
It's at the interconnection of all the different work streams.
Exactly.
So
this is what I mean.
Okay, so we can on the next TSC, we can at the end of the next TSC start to have a first review maybe on this requirement list. Not to be exhaustive, but we can present the work what we have to do on this part. If you are all okay. Okay.
Yeah, we will push a first list and discuss discuss it into TSC.
Okay. Can be dedicated 10 or 15 minutes on this, but we're not going to pass all the line, but we can highlight some points. Okay. Thank you. Now, if we're coming back to your focus, Théophile, are we covered all your points?
Yes. So
Okay.
we will continue the work and publish the features after analyzing the EUCS certification scheme on the wiki page that has been shown by Guillaume. So yes, just to mention, the EUCS certification scheme draft is public, can be found on internet, and I have put the link so you can consult all the requirements of EUCS in the introduction part. Yes, so yes, there is a link in the introduction. So do not hesitate to consult those documents, and do not hesitate also to give me feedback on that work.
Okay, thank you. We think it's important to decrease the fragmentation of the security requirement across Europe at least, but it's a very good framework for all countries, not only limited to Europe. Thanks. Okay, so just to switch to the last section, it's concerning the governance part. So you've got the contributors MD.MD here, and as I mentioned, we have updated today with the list of the members. This is the first point. The second point is that as this is our second TSC, we want to propose appointment for first committers. So you've got the detailed accountabilities of the committers here on the charter. But basically, the main role is to approve merge request and to propose code or to propose scenarios, which is quite clear for the cloud stack development, but for concerning the validation center one, we are describing the process. It's how we're going to define this process, for example. And concerning the work group dedicated to the requirements, it's how to submit new requirements and to validate it. So as the first list of appointment, we propose on the work group one to have as the first committers Mathieu Ron, Alessandro Capello, François Elouette, and Thomas Morin. So I propose to have a validation by the board on this topic. So is there any blocking point by the members of the board to this list? No? Okay, so we validated. For the work group 2, we propose to have Luis. Luis is also the leader of this work group, but we propose to have Luis as a first committer. Any blocking point? No, thanks. And on the work group 3, Théophile. Okay, for all. Thanks. What we want to cover in the next TSC is to explain the process, how to become contributor. We have, and thanks to Théophile, we have a regular exchange with the Linux Foundation concerning this process. And so we will be mature next week, not next week, the 25th of January, I think, Théophile, to share this process.
Yes, but in the meantime, we have a topic which is the CLA. So as you may know, each individual or company should sign a contributor license agreement in order to be able to contribute to the Sylva open source code. So before submitting any contribution, we should agree on a CLA document and validate it through this TSC meeting by an approbation of all the TSC members. So the process we can propose, I can share you my screen, is to okay, so can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so we received from the Linux Foundation those two documents. So the first one is a corporate contributor license agreement, so to be signed by companies, and the other one is an individual contributor license agreement, so to be signed by individuals. What we propose is we can put those two documents in the minutes of these TSC meetings in order for the TSC members to maybe have a validation by their legal departments, especially for the corporate contributor license agreement, and providing a feedback on those documents next week by Friday, so we can so we can have a proper validation of those documents and send it to all the legal departments of all the companies wanting to contribute to be signed and to allow all the contribution to the Sylva project. This is the very first step of the contributing process. So I think in all of your companies, it's a pretty standard process. So your legal department, I think they're used to sign those kind of documents if you are already involved in other projects inside the Linux Foundation, for example. So it shouldn't take so long. So in the minutes of the TSC meeting, you will find those two documents. Please, if you are a TSC voting member, send a feedback next Friday, before next Friday, to the TSC on those documents with a proper validation, so we can use them inside all our companies to be signed and allowing contributions. And so starting in after this validation, any company could just sign the CLA and be able to contribute following this process.
One question on that. See, actually, Linux Foundation as such has already taken a lot of companies into consideration, right? Will that be continuing here, or we have to redo it for Sylva alone?
I think you should resign for Sylva, but you're right that they have a common tool, which is named EasyCLA. So we will use this tool in order to simplify the management of contributors. And so after signing the document, you will be able to, we will organize a session with the Linux Foundation so they can give you an access, a specific access for Sylva in this tool, so your company can register the contributors.
Okay, sure, thank you.
Any other clarification question on this CLA process, which is really important?
So one question, I think you said like certain companies who joined a little late onto this, or who are yet to get the complete details of it by 1st Feb, right? I mean, you gave the date as 1st Feb. So perhaps those companies can also do it, because I see that you have to do it by this Friday, but the companies will get the complete brainstorming by 1st of February. So how should we proceed with those companies? Like, for example, WinRiver and Capgemini were two companies you mentioned about, right?
Actually, I was asking a validation from the companies that are voting member of the TSC. So I asked the validation for Friday, but then but I think it will be
an ongoing process. after.
Yes,
Exactly.
like it's a very standard document, so I think there won't be any point, but it's just a matter of ethics between.
I think it'll be ongoing process for sure. So this is only for the existing TSC members. I just want to read. This is only for the existing board members. You're asking it right now for Friday. Other people, as and when they join, maybe that will continue, right? Just proactive, right? But
yes.
Other question? No. Okay. So just as an opening and open question, we want just to evaluate if it's relevant or not to launch new work group, and just to see if there are some participants who want to be active in those work group. First idea was concerning communication. If we want that a community project succeed, it's important to have a regular press release, participate at some events, for example, the KubeCon or the Mobile World Congress. It's important also to estimate the budget dedicated to this communication stream. So I want to have the first roundtable if there are any companies who are interested to participate to this communication dedicated work group on the table. No company interested in this work group. Not for now. Okay.
Guillaume,
yeah.
I'm in principle interested, but I would have to check with my colleagues to see if we can staff it at the time being. Right. So let me get back to you on that, and I'll ask in the background in the meantime.
Okay. So Suzy is interested to participate.
This is Giuseppe. In principle, team is interested in this activity. We believe that communication is important for Sylva. The point is that in my group there are no people that are expert of communication. So we have to check internally if we can involve some communication people.
Yeah, we need both profile. It's important, Giuseppe. We need communication people, but we need also some people who knows the ecosystem very well to define what are the best place to communicate also. Yeah, and to propose some demo, for example, for some events. So yeah, okay. So Orange
here also.
Yeah, I'm actually representing the MAC of LFN. I'm Seshu here from Enregistrement. I think you can see a note there already that MAC is the right place to be there. So if you have a MAC representative from our group or Sylva group to the LFN MAC, then that will be the right platform to do it. I mean, I'm already a board member for MAC from different groups, different projects of LFN. So this could be a right bridge for it, just to address that specific question, right? That will be the right bridge. Because all the decisions which you want to do for communications has to come from MAC, right? MAC or TAC. For technical, it will be TAC, and for marketing and all, it will be MAC. So we better have a representative from there so that it can be easy for us to do the communications.
Okay, but is it something specific to the LFN? Because Sylva for now is not part of the LFN.
I know. Okay. So the reason why I'm just giving a hint because I'm already a MAC member. I know how it works there. I'm just giving a hint because I could see some questions coming as to how it should be done, right? To address it, I'm saying that the better way is actually going through LFN European. I mean, of course, it should be LFN Europe for this case. And that board should be the right guys to give it a broader spectrum because we will not even know what and all are the right areas where we do that. For example, MWC. Then I can also think of ONS EU, right? I mean, to start with European events, right? These are the events where we should actually have more participation. KubeCon, CNCF conference, which happens in Europe. Again, LFN has ONES, that is OSN EU, especially I'm talking about. So, and then of course MWC, which is pretty popular, happening right now in Feb. Last week is when we have MWC already planned. So these are some of the things which we have to target on to start with. And I can be a guide right now from my experience of LF and Mac, which is a much broader spectrum. I can actually be of some value to you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Regarding the communication, also here in Riviera from Sylva, I can see internally if it's possible, but I need to confirm with my communication team internally.
Okay, you need to validate first. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think I can persuade him. Let's see.
Okay. Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, this is William. So maybe one other important event is the developer and testing forum from the LFN, which is organized. The organization is ongoing, and I think the nephew team is also invited to present or have some special dedicated session for that. So maybe we can try to contact also the LFN to organize something for Sylva in parallel with nephew and try to have this exchange as well with the community. I can try to introduce this topic if you want.
Yeah,
we can coordinate that.
You are the right place to do it. Thanks, William. So thanks for this feedback. So we are going to propose on the next TSC how we can launch and what can be the missions of this work group. So we can have a first meeting on this. And another option is concerning the energy efficiency. We had when we were under private collaboration a first discussion with the members of the TSC, but it's important to have some focus on Sylva on energy efficiency. The first point is to measure the consumption of the whole server, but not only, it's also to have a consumption per CNF. And it's important at the end also to develop or to use some open source projects to optimize with decision to decrease the consumption of energy, and we can do many things at the cloud stack layer to do this. So we want to see there are some potential partners who are interested to work and to be associated to this energy work group.
Again, Seshu from Wind River. We have been working on Oran's side of energy saving actually.
Yeah. So just I'm going to interrupt you. Yeah, it's our Orange team is also involved in this Open RAN workgroup efficiency. So it's very important that we are going to onboard the ORAN requirements, and here we're going to propose some implementation. So definitely, it's a way to define the first requirements. Yeah. Important.
Yeah. So I'm talking of ORAN SC to add to it. Yes, not just Alliance, we are also talking of ORAN SC where implementation also has discussed, not just the standards. So surely I can get back to you more details. As I said, I'm waiting for the first step where we can actually do the formal brainstorming, and then from there we can take on. But you can count me for sure on that.
So Wind River is interested to participate probably to this track.
Yeah, I would put it on condition that after first step, we'll have more clarity. Then we will be surely interested.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Guillaume, you can sign me up there as well. We obviously need to see what exactly needs to be done here, but I'd like to be in the loop initially, and then we'll see what we do.
Okay.
Yeah, same for Ericsson. Yeah, evaluating this, but it's a very interesting topic in general.
The same for team.
Contas all as well, Telefónica. We're interested in participating, in following it.
Yeah.
Actually,
It is for sure a hot
it is.
topic.
Yeah. Okay. I know that Marco, it's an important topic to you also, but I don't know if it's on Nokia side you are evaluating this point. We already discussed in the past.
Yes, yes, it is important. So please include Nokia as well.
Okay. Don't know. I do not want to force you. But I saw that you were very active in the initial brainstorm on this topic. Okay, thanks for this feedback. So for next TSC, I think it's important to start to have some ideas around these two streams. If some of the members wants to lead this work group, it's also really open. So don't hesitate to notify me or Giuseppe if you want to be appointed as the leader of this work group. So you'll have some autonomy to organize it. Okay, I think it's important. Okay, we are in time and we finished the agenda. Is there any question you want to raise or clarification?
The other question I have is about the TAC and MAC. Will we have a separate thing at the LFN level, or how is it going to be for Europe?
It's LF Europe.
LF Europe, okay. Got it. Sure.
LFN Europe is not existing as far as I know.
Okay, LF Europe, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks all. You'll have the minutes probably today or tomorrow. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Goodbye,
Thank
Oren.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Have a good
Have
day.
a good day.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.